going to study today is one of my favorite chapters. Okay, why so? Because this chapter tells us about a story about a very great personality of our country. So the chapter's name is, it is from Beehive first of all, and the chapter's name is My Childhood. My Childhood. So this is by far my favorite chapter from any grade, be it 10th, 11th, 7th, 8th, whatever grade it is. My favorite chapter, My Childhood. Why so? Because it is the story of the childhood of whom? Not me, but the very great personality of India, the eminent scientist, former president, late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Okay, Dr. APJ Kalam. So this chapter tells us about the story of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's childhood. We all are aware with what great things he has done over his life. He was the president, which is the most famous thing with Dr. Kalam. But one more thing was with him. Many missiles in India that are very much needed for countries' defense and security, and a country becomes a superpower with his military strength. So the effect that Mr. Kalam had in this sector was very huge, because he was also a scientist. So Mr. Kalam made a few missiles like Agni and so on. The missiles name I will tell you in the chapter only. So Mr. Kalam's work we all know. We know he was an eminent scientist, our president, whatever his achievements are, we are aware of that. Most of us, we are aware about that. But what we don't know is his childhood. He was never the same. He was a young boy like you, and he was a very hard-working guy. So we will see that how his childhood was, how his parents were, how his life was, where he went to school, and all of that will be covered in the chapter My Childhood. So this is one of the best chapter in your book. Please watch the video till last, and please read the chapter yourself at home also. So I am Aman from DPS Advani Ramachor, and we are reading the chapter My Childhood.
Okay, so let's now start a reading of the chapter My Childhood. So before we read, can you think of any scientists who have also been statesmen? First of all, I would like to tell you that what does statesman means. Statesman here means a politician, someone who governs the state, who is a representative of a particular country or state or whatever we call it. So he is called a statesman. So can you name any scientist who has also been a statesman? A scientist who has been in the highest post. Okay, like we have so many politicians. So anyone who has run the country or the state or anywhere, being a scientist also. APJ Abdul Kalam, whose projects in space, defense and nuclear technology guided India into the 21st century, became our 11th president in 2002. So this is a very important thing. You can mark it, you can highlight it, that APJ Abdul Kalam sir, he was the president of India, and he became the 11th president in the year 2002. And he was a very remarkable scientist as well. He made a few projects in space, defense and nuclear technology, which paved India's way into glory. We can say that he was the father of nuclear technology also, because you all are aware with the Parmanu. You have seen the movie, that movie. Okay, so in the movie, John Abraham's movie, we have seen that Pokhran nuclear test. Okay, so where India tested nuclear missiles or nuclear bombs. So the nuclear technology is very useful, not only because it is very devastating, it can destroy major countries, but because by nuclear technology we can build energy also, we can develop energy also. So nuclear technology is very essential, and Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is a very renowned person who made this technology possible in India. In his autobiography, Wings of Fire, he speaks of his childhood. So, this story, My Childhood, is an excerpt. What is an excerpt? A part of a big story or a big novel. So, it is an excerpt from that story, and this is called My Childhood. So, it is about Mr. APJ Abdul Kalam's childhood, and he has mentioned about his childhood in the book, in his autobiography, The Wings of Fire. Okay, Wings of Fire is his autobiography. If you get any chance to read this book, this is available online also. So by any chance, if you get your hands on this book, it is a must read. You will get to know many inspiring things, that how a small boy from Rameshwaram, from the city of Tamil Nadu, he got success, and he hardly was he hardly had any wealth, but he became so successful only because of his hard work, his intellect, and his determination. Okay, so now we will study about Mr. Kalam's childhood through this story, which is taken from his autobiography named Wings of Fire. So let's start reading the chapter. I was born into a middle class Tamil family in the island town of Rameshwaram. Okay, so Mr. Kalam is saying in his autobiography. What is an autobiography? When someone writes about his own experience, life experiences, and he pens down all of that, it is called autobiography. What is auto? Self. So he is writing on his own about his life. So biography is the account of someone's life. Okay, but autobiography is self accounting one's own life. So he has written about his own life, and it is a part of that book. We have only covered the childhood part. So this story is called My Childhood. So he tells us in the story that he was born into a middle class family, Tamil family rather, and in the island town. What is an island? The land covered by water. Okay, so he was born into a Tamil family, middle class Tamil family, and in an island town in Rameshwaram. The place is Rameshwaram, and in the erstwhile Madras state. Erstwhile means former. Now it is called Tamil Nadu, but earlier it was called Madras. Erstwhile means former. He says, my father Jainul Abdin had neither much formal education nor much wealth. So Dr. Abdul Kalam says that his father was a very common man. He was not well educated, and neither he had any money. Despite these disadvantages, he possessed great innate wisdom. So, in spite of having less money and less education, Mr. Kalam's father, APJ Abdul Kalam's father, Jainul Abdin, was had a very innate wisdom. Innate wisdom means inborn, the intellect which you get from your birth. By education or by reading or by any experience, you polish your knowledge, you polish your brain, you polish your intellectual skills, but something is there from God that you have got, and his this quality was very good, that Mr. Kalam's father Jainul Abdin was very intellectual from birth. From his childhood he was very intellectual. His father, not him. So same way, if a father is very intellectual, he had a very genius mind, so the genes would go to the son as well. What are genes? The gun we say in Hindi. Okay, so the genes he got from his father. He had an ideal helpmate. And one more thing, Mr. Kalam's father, APJ Abdul Kalam, what is Abdul APJ Abdul Kalam's full name? That is your homework. You have to tell me in the Google Meet. Okay, he had so his father had a very good thing, that he was innate. He had innate wisdom from birth. He had that knowledge. His intellect level was very high, and he had a true generosity of spirit. True generosity of spirit means he was very what do we say, very happy-go-lucky kind of a man. He was very generous, always helping others, and he had these qualities in him. So he had an ideal helpmate in my mother. So Mr. Kalam, Abdul Kalam, says that his father had an ideal helpmate in his mother, Ashi Amma. Okay, so what's the name of Abdul Kalam's parents? His father, Jainul Abdin, who is a very common man, not much educated, not had much wealth, but had innate wisdom, inborn intellect, and his mother is very a very decent very ideal partner to Mr. Kalam's father, and she was a helpmate of him, and her name was Ashi Amma. I do not recall the exact number of people she fed every day. So this thing was there in their house, that both his parents were very generous, they were very helping. So Kalam says that he doesn't remember that how many people his mother used to feed every day, but I am quite certain that far more outsiders ate with us than all the members of our own family put together. So Mr. Kalam says that he doesn't know that whether his mother feed how many people every day, but he can be sure about that more outsiders than the part of the family members used to eat with their family put together. So this was a very good thing about Abdul Kalam's mother, Ashi Amma. Now, I was one of many children, okay, a short boy with rather undistinguished looks. So Kalam says that he was one of many children, so he had many siblings. He was a short boy with rather undistinguished looks. Undistinguished look means he was not very handsome, or there was nothing in his outer appearance that will amaze you. Okay, his looks were very common. Born to tall and handsome parents. So he is saying that he was born to very tall and good looking parents, but he was of very ordinary looks, and he was not very tall. He was a short boy. You must have seen Abdul Kalam sir, that how he looks, a very different kind of a hairstyle he has. He make his hairs from the middle of his head, so that is his hairstyle that looks very decent. We lived in our ancestral house. Ancestral means the ancestral means जो हमको अपने दादा दादी से मिलता है, the what do we say, from our पूर्वज, okay, from the people that are part of the family from before, the our ancestors, our elders, the people those who were there from when we are not even born. So the ancestral house, so they used to live, which was built in the middle of 19th century. 19th century, what is 19th century? The 1800s. Okay, this is 21st century, the 2000s. Before that, the 20th century was there, the 1900s, and in the 19th century means the 1800s. So the 19th century was the house built, and it is his ancestral house. It was a fairly large pakka house. Okay, at that time, see that in the 19th century, in the 1800s, Kalams had the pakka house, the strong house, made of limestone and brick, on the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. This line you must mark, that where his house was. It was in the mosque. Don't call it mosque. Okay, mosque means masjid. So it was in the Mosque Street in Rameshwaram. My austere father, austere means simple, strict and severe. Simple, he was very simple and strict. Okay, so my austere father used to avoid all inessential comforts and luxuries. So his father was very simple. he used to avoid giving money over the unnecessary things like luxuries, for example television or whatever you can call it. So his father was very simple, he was very austere, and he used to avoid spending on that. However, all necessities were provided for in terms of food, medicine or clothes. So Kalam says that his father didn't used to spend much on the luxuries, but the common things that are needed in a in one's life were there. For example, food, be it food, medicine or clothes. In fact, I would say mine was a very secure childhood, both materially means by money or any terms, and emotionally means in the sense that he was very much loved and cared by his parents. Let's see next. The Second World War broke out in 1939. So it was during the time of World War. The Second World War broke out in 1939 when I was 8 years old. So Dr. Kalam was 8 years old when World War took place. For reasons I have never been able to understand, a sudden demand for tamarind seeds. What is tamarind? Imli. Okay, so in the year 1939, when Kalam was just 8 years of age, the Second World War broke out, and he doesn't know that why tamarind seeds demand was high in the market. A sudden demand was there. Erupted means it grew. Okay, I used to collect the seeds and sell them to a provision shop on Mosque Street. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. Okay, so he used to sell the tamarind seeds to the Mosque Street shop, and he used to get 1 anna every day. Anna is an old Indian coin worth about 6 paise. So 6 paise means 1 anna. A day's collection would fetch me the princely sum of 1 anna. My brother-in-law Jalaluddin would tell me stories about the war, which I would later attempt to trace in the headlines of Dinamani. So it is a very important line, market. So his brother-in-law, his sister's husband, Jalaluddin, used to tell him stories about the World War, and he used to later see the news in the newspaper. The newspaper that was circulated there was Dinamani. Being isolated, was completely unaffected by the war. So their house was very isolated. It was in between of the water. It was an island. So their area was unaware of all the effects of the World War. But soon India was forced to join the Allied forces, and something like a state of emergency was declared. So India was forced by British government to join the Second World War, and suddenly emergency was declared. What is emergency? When the rule of law is diminished. Okay, when you can't go to courts for your whatever concerns you have, and only the rule of the government will be there. The rule will be there with never ending power. So no one will be there to judge anyone, to challenge the government's rule will be final. It is like dictator's rule. So emergency was declared. The first casualty came in the form of suspension of the train halt at Rameswaram. So the first thing that hurt the natives of Rameswaram was that the suspension of the train. So a train used to come to Rameswaram and it got suspended in the Rameswaram station. The newspapers now had to be bundled and thrown out from the moving train on the Rameswaram road. So Rameswaram's station, where the train used to stop, halt means stop, it stopped doing so, and now the newspapers that were being circulated in the locality were now being thrown from the train, as the train was not able to stop. So it was between Rameswaram road and between Rameshwaram and Dhanush Kodi that forced my cousin Samsuddin. So one more character has come in our story. His cousin Samsuddin, okay, Abdul Kalam's cousin Samsuddin, who distributed newspapers in Rameshwaram. So his cousin Samsuddin was a distributor of newspaper in Rameshwaram. So he had to look for a helping hand to catch the bundles, and as if naturally I filled the slot. So his cousin Samsuddin, who used to do the business of newspaper, he asked Abdul Kalam, Dr. Abdul Kalam, to join him so that he can catch the bundles from the train and later on distribute them. So Samsuddin helped me earn my first wages. What are wages? Wages are when you do a work and you get paid for it on daily terms. It is called wages. What is the difference between salary and wages? Salary you get after a span of time. Wages you get on daily basis after whatever work you will do. Half a century later, I can still feel the surge of pride in earning my own money for the first time. So how Abdul Kalam earned his first money? He sold newspaper. He helped his cousin Samsuddin, and he collected the newspapers, the bundles from the moving train, and he used to later help him. Okay, so this is how he got the first earning, the first wages. Earlier he used to get 1 anna for the tamarind seeds, but that will not be called first wages because that was just selling something. Here he was doing actually some work. Now coming to the fourth paragraph. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics. So Abdul Kalam is saying to us that every child is born with some inherited means gained from your parents. Some characteristics, some qualities you get from your parents into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. So Abdul Kalam is trying to say that you get something from your parents. The atmosphere that is there in your home, it also develops some kind of qualities in you. Like for example, if your parents are working, you develop the quality of helping in home. You help in the works at household works. So this quality gets developed. So he's saying that the socio-economic means the social condition, that how the society is and how your economy is, how your wealth is, how you are as a family, your earnings are. It develops your qualities and the emotional environment also, whether your parents are attached to you, whether they listen to you, whether they care you according to you or not. So that also develops your qualities. So I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. So what Abdul Kalam got from his father was the quality of honesty. His father was very honest, and self-discipline from his father. So what qualities he got from his father? Honesty and self-discipline. From my mother I inherited faith in goodness. So from mother he got faith in goodness, कि अच्छा करोगे तो अच्छा होगा, faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my 3 brothers and sisters. So what were the qualities that Mr. Kalam got from his parents? From his father he got the quality of honesty and discipline, and from his self-discipline, not discipline. One thing is discipline. Discipline, when people ask you to be disciplined, they force you to be disciplined. And one is self-discipline. You're yourself very disciplined. No one needs to check you on that. That comes from within. From his father he got the quality of honesty and self-discipline, and from his mother he got the quality of the faith in goodness, that whatever good I will do, it will work for my benefit only. So अच्छा करोगे अच्छा होगा, that is the thing. And deep kindness, and it got in him. So deep kindness. His mother used to feed a lot of people, Ashi Amma. So from Jainul Abdin, from Jainul Abdin he got this quality, self-discipline and honesty, and from his mother Ashi Amma he got the quality of faith in goodness, and what else? The kindness. So all of the Kalam kids got these qualities. The three brothers and sister got this quality. I had three close friends in my childhood. Now Kalam is coming to his friends. He had three close friends in his childhood, namely Ramanand Shastri. One was Ramanand Shastri, second was Arvindan, and third was Shiv Prakashan. So all these boys were from orthodox Hindu Brahmin families, and as you can see, Abdul Kalam was from a Muslim family. As children, none of us ever felt any different amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. So who were the friends of Abdul Kalam? Ramanand Shastri, Arvindan and Shiv Prakashan. All three were Hindus, Brahmins, and Abdul Kalam was Muslim. So this difference between them didn't come in their relationship. One question was there in your form also, minority. So Muslims are minority community. Ramanand Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri. So mark this thing. Ramananda Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest of the Rameshwaram temple. So Ramanand Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana, and he was the highest priest. Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri was the highest priest in the Rameshwaram temple. What is a priest? Pujari. Later he took over the priesthood of the Rameshwaram temple from his father. Okay, so Ramanand Shastri from his father Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri got the priesthood of the Rameshwara temple. Arvindan went into the business of arranging transport. So one of his friend Ramanand Shastri, he became the priest. Arvindan got into the business of arranging transport for the visiting pilgrims, as Rameshwaram temple was there, and Shiv Prakashan became a catering contractor in Southern Railways. So the last friend Shiv Prakashan became a contractor, catering contractor who arranged food for the Southern Railways. Okay. I think this much is clear to you, that what were the jobs of the friends, what they did later in their lives. Ramanand Shastri became a priest, the other friend Arvindan became a catering agent, and not the catering agent, he became an arranger for transport of the pilgrims, and Shiv Prakashan became the catering contractor for Southern Railways. During the annual Sri Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony, what is Kalyanam? Kalyanam in Tamil is the marriage. So Sitaram Kalyanam, the Sita and Ram's marriage. So during that ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of Lord from the temple to the marriage site. So the Kalyanam, the marriage used to take place of Lord Ram and Sita. So Abdul Kalam's family, being a Muslim, see, this is a very good quality of Abdul Kalam's family, that even after that he was a Muslim, they used to make idols of, they used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols. What are idols? The murtis. So they used to carry in their boats the idols of Lord Rama and Sita to the Kalyanam site, to the site of the marriage, situated in the middle of the pond called Rama Tirtha. So a pond was there called Rama Tirtha. So their family, Abdul Kalam's family, used to arrange boats to carry the idols of Sita and Ram, which was near our house. Events from the Ramayana, this you can see in the picture also, that a procession is going on, and you can see a boy with a cap here with his hands held high. In the left corner of your screen, you can see one girl with two ponies is there. With that, Abdul Kalam is there with a topi that Muslims put, and he is very happily going with the procession of Lord Rama and Sita. So their marriage used to be there, the idol's marriage, and the family of Abdul Kalam used to carry these idols in their boats. Events from the Ramayana and from the life of Prophet were bedtime stories. Okay, so bedtime stories from his mother and grandmother, okay, would tell their children of family. So in like Dadi Nani used to tell stories to you also, so Abdul Kalam's mother and his grandmother used to tell stories from both the Ramayana and the life of Prophet. Prophet is the holy man of the Muslims, a guru kind of a person of the Muslims, Prophet. So their family used to have both the stories, one from the Hindus Ramayana and other from the Prophet's stories. So this shows that he was a very secular person. Secular means who doesn't believe in communalism, who doesn't differentiate between any religion or caste. For them all are equal. So here are part 1 of the story is ending. I hope you have understood the chapter. I hope you have understood by far what was the life of Mr. Kalam was, and now we shall end this session. I hope that you have enjoyed the story, and the story is very nicely written. It is one of my favorite story, and we have seen that what qualities Mr. Kalam got from his parents and whatever is there in the story. So we will meet again in the next video, and I hope that you have enjoyed the lecture.
Okay, so here are the chapters part 1 concludes. I hope that you have enjoyed the story, a very good story. Here it is of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and I hope that you have understood the chapter and you will do the work that I will assign you. And today we will have our Google Meet also, so we will interact through that. And whatever your doubts will be on the chapter, you can share with me in the Google Meet also. And your test is also here for today. So all the best for that. And I am Amar from DPS Alwani Ramachor. You are watching PTO classes. Thank you so much for watching the lecture.